post-game live. I feel good. I feel good. Not just because the Warriors have just pulled out a 120 victory over the Spurs, which absolutely did not look like happening whatsoever through the first quarter and a half. Not only that, though, but the Lakers are currently losing by 32 to the Thunder at halftime, which makes me feel a little bit better about getting blown out by OKC 24 hours ago. So it's a good night, good day for the Golden State Warriors after plenty of not only disappointment from the game against the Thunder 24 hours ago, but also a lot of controversy with some of the comments from Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and others. And to come out and play the way they did in the last 2.5 quarters, and particularly the second half, was exceptional. And we finally got a vintage Stephen Curry masterclass, which felt like it was a long time coming. Felt like it was a matter of time. And I sat here yesterday at this time, and I was questioning whether Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond still were capable of not these type of performances, but, and I want to preface what I said yesterday. I want to, like, when I was questioning their capability, it was not questioning their capability on a game by game basis. It was questioning their capability across the course of a long regular season. And I will say that there is still question marks over how good this team can be, as old as they are and as veteran as they are across 82 games into the playoffs. But can Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green still be great on any given night? Absolutely. And we saw that in this game. They turned back the clock. Vintage performances from those three guys. Draymond a little bit less so. I think he's certainly a talking point. But Steph, 46 points. Again, really struggling in the first half. And you're like, wow. Like, Stephon Castle was giving him the business on both ends. And it's like, man, our GOAT is getting cooked by a second-year guard right now on both ends. He was like started 1 of 6 shooting from 3. Castle was kind of dominant offensively as well for the Spurs. And I was like, geez, like, we're in some trouble here. We're in some trouble. The Warriors scored 14 points in the first quarter, which is remarkable when you consider they score 14 points in the first quarter and end up with 125 for the game. They go for 70 in the 80, was it? Should I say? Was it 70 or 80? Hang on, what did they go for in the second half? They were 49 at half, so they went for 76 in the second half. Steph goes for 46, 13 of 25 shooting. Didn't even shoot the three ball that well. It was like 5 of 16, but 15 of 16 from the free throw line. And credit to Jimmy as well, because Jimmy's copped some flack. We've seen some hate fans on social media kind of doing laps cheering because they're like, oh, the Warriors are finally getting the Jimmy Butler experience. There's stuff going on in the locker room. Doesn't look great. Jimmy took 3 total shots yesterday. It's like 24 hours can be a long time in basketball. And Jimmy Butler comes out, drills 5 threes, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Classic Jimmy Butler performance. And Draymond, just an hilarious Draymond Green game. Just an hilarious, like, when you look at the numbers, just so weird. So Wemby finishes with 31 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, triple-double, right, in over 36 minutes. Draymond Green has 6 points, shoots 1 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 7 from three-point range. So you look at that and you would think, well, Wemby just gave Draymond the business and Draymond was horrifically bad, right, if you just looked at those numbers. And he did some things in this game, like he had another 4 turnovers, and some of the stuff is like, when the Warriors were mounting a comeback in that third quarter, and he had a trio of plays where, one, he missed a layup, then he committed an offensive foul that was initially ruled a defensive foul, then the Spurs got it overturned on review, and then he fouls Vassell on a corner 3, and which turns into a 4-point play. And I'm like, man, this is not great from Draymond. But throughout it all, his defense on Wemby, which sounds ridiculous when you think about Wemby having 31, 15, and 10, his defense on Wemby was actually elite. For a guy that's a foot shorter, how many dunks did Wemby have in this game? How many layups did Wemby have in this game? Everything was jump shot heavy from Wemby. It's like tough contested 2s, 3s. And you know what? Credit to him, he made them. Like, he's just that good. Like, he's a top 5 player in the world. But did Draymond make it and the Warriors in general make it as difficult for Wemby as you possibly could, yeah, they kind of like, he still finished with 31, 15, and 10, but Draymond's defensive effort on Wemby was actually exceptional. Like, made him take as tough a shot as you possibly could for that man. And again, he still made some, but credit to Draymond. I thought his defensive performance on Wemby, given the task, was quite elite. And Wemby did have 8 turnovers in this game, right? So you got to remember that. Yeah, he went for 31, 15, and 10, but he had 8 turnovers. The Spurs were a -9 in his minutes, which means they were better without him on the floor, technically. And then Draymond was a +15, game high +15. So that just goes to show you, right? Like, just unbelievable. Anyway, Envy. And let's get into some of your comments here. Not to start off negative because, wow, that was a great win, was highly needed. But notice who didn't play in the second half. January 15th is all I'm saying. So let's go back to the start of the game. The Warriors make major changes to their starting lineup. Post out. Post plays 4.5 minutes in this game, by the way. Post out. Kuminga out. We are 2 weeks removed from Steve Kerr saying Jonathan Kuminga is a confirmed starter going forward. It took 2 weeks. He's gone. Kuminga out. Post out. Richard in. Moody in. So I would have probably preferred to keep Post over Richard and just make the Moody Kuminga change, but it worked, I suppose, in the end. The Moody thing, I suppose, just had to happen at some point. So Kuminga plays 12 minutes in the first half, goes scoreless, looked very tentative, and looked like a guy who just didn't want to make mistakes and understood that he'd been demoted and was like, I don't know, I just don't want to make the mistakes that have led me to this position. And he had 4 rebounds, again, active enough on the glass, but no real offensive impact whatsoever. Also, not a great game for him when Wemby's just roaming around the paint, so it's not easy for him to necessarily attack. And then he goes out of the game in the second half with knee soreness. Warriors put up 76 points in the second half. I mean, you guys can draw conclusions, right? You can draw conclusions. Can Jonathan Kuminga still play a role on this team? Yes, but based on this one game alone, you would say, yeah, like, probably look to move that guy once trade eligible. So it's disappointing because we had so many games early in the season where it's like, oh, you actually can't trade this guy based on how he's playing. And now we've had a couple of games now where it's like, yeah, we're going to have to start those conversations again. MV also says, slot in a Trey Murphy, Keon Ellis, Herb Jones, Keegan Murray with a healthy Melton and Seth, dangerous team. It's wild how like quickly things can turn in a 24-hour period. Then next is we finally won a road game. Pods has to go. Moody saved us in that second quarter. Yeah, just to be I don't want to like the Kuminga Pajemski stuff. I want to start positive because this is like it's a big win. It's a big win on the road. Moody in the second quarter, the Warriors had no offense but to run like plays and like screens to get Moody open. That was literally their only offense. And in credit to him, he knocked down some big shots. He hit like 4 threes in the first half. He beat Cornette off the dribble for a dunk at one point, had 14 points, I think, in the first half, and was literally the only source of offense. And part of me was like, this is tough. If all we've got offensively is running plays for Moses Moody, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. But fortunately, he made enough where it kind of kept us close enough where it was like, okay, now Steph can kind of take over, Jimmy can take over and do what they do best. And so that was a big, particularly that early second where the Warriors had the Warriors scored 14 points in the first quarter, had nothing going in the first half, but Moody just made enough jumpers, right? It almost looked like prime Clay. Like they were just running plays as if he was prime Clay, just coming off screens, knocking him down from the wing. Except it was Moses Moody. And again, solid performance from him. The Warriors clearly need to keep him in the starting lineup moving forward for the shooting presence more than anything else. Envy says JK's definitely improved this season, but an upgrade in his place would be the difference for this team. Melton will be back, Pods will slot down, and JK replacement would play better and just fit more. Yeah, the trade Murphy the third. Jackson says trade JK. Envy says huge game from Al, hit some big threes in this game and played some solid defense. Very true. Solid minutes from him. I wouldn't say it was an outstanding, tremendous game, but yeah, 3 of 6 from deep. He had a couple of blocks, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 points. Just a solid Al Horford game that you'd ideally get like every game, essentially. Cornell says, told you JK and Pod's still the problem when we get Melton and Seth. I hope cut down on Pod's minutes. Envy says, notice as soon as JK left, we started to play better. Oh, the negativity from you guys. Come on, can I talk positive for a second about one player that I'm always negative about? I'm always negative about him, but I'll give credit where it's due. When he deserves credit, I'm going to give him credit. Gary Payton II. Really impactful 15 minutes from him. And you know what? It kind of started in that fourth quarter against the Thunder. I enjoyed the way he kind of played with the young guys and got involved. And because it's very easy, like you've been a key part of a championship team. You've seen your minutes dwindle away. You've seen your rotation role dwindle away. You've seen Will Richard come in as a rookie and just take your minutes. It'd be very easy for a veteran guy to just be like, well, like, cool, this is who I am now. Like, it is what it is. But I just really like the leadership and experience that he showed in that fourth. And it didn't mean much. Like, let's be honest. Like, you turn a 35-point deficit into a 26-point loss. Cool, great. Like, does it really mean much? Maybe not. But I like the way he carried himself. Let's just put it that way. It had nothing really to do with his actual on-court, what he did, but it was just like he just carried himself in a way that shows he's still very much in tune with the team and still very much invested in the team. And I think that may have showed up again in this game where, okay, it's not a huge stat line. He goes 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal in 15 minutes. That's not blowing you away. But man, that play when the Spurs are coming in the fourth quarter and the Warriors like miss a 3, he gets the O board, and then Steph misses a 3, he gets another O board, finds Steph, and Steph drills a 3, which is just such a big play when the Spurs are coming at you in the fourth quarter. Like, yeah, to slip to the rim for a layup in the fourth, just some big plays from Gary Payton II. So, man, am I a big Gary Payton II? I'm not a hater of him. I can't never be a hater from him. He's a championship player who played a significant role in that championship season. So I'm not a Gary Payton II hater, but have I been largely negative on him? Yes. And so I want to make sure that I give him his flowers and give him a shout out and some credit when he plays well. So I just wanted to mention that. Sorry, guys. Just going to get back through your comments here. Fenix says we need to trade JK and Pods. Well, on the third says Moody is dead eye right now. Off-season workouts and surgery came through. Yeah, shooting the ball. He's the second best shooter on the team, really, isn't he? He's better than Buddy. Kevin is back. Haven't heard from him for a while. And now Kuminga is out and the Warriors win, so he had to come back in the chat. Envy says, I love you, Kevin. Envy says, I doubt both Pods and Kuminga get moved, but Def Kuminga for me, bigger contract and more trade value. There's a time and a place to talk about trades, and there's definitely going to be many Kuminga conversations, and there are some interesting ones now developing in terms of Anthony Davis becoming available, Domantas Sabonis becoming available. The problem is those guys are that they make way too much more money, so it has to be Draymond involved in it as well. And I just don't think they're trading Draymond and Kuminga for a guy like AD with his injury issues and risk. And I also don't think they're doing it for a guy like Sabonis, who's like, that just really impacts your defense if you're going Kuminga and Draymond to Sabonis. So, Envy says, I doubt both. Envy says, Draymond played good. He wasn't shooting well, but he made that layup that was needed and played that defense. On Wemby, he went 0 of 7 on Dre. To start, he made a couple of jumpers late. FedEx says Wemby had 1 or 2 blocks. O says Wemby scored a few points in garbage time. Dre held him to less than 30. Good point. Athenex says, my thing with Dre is that he's such a liability on offense and teams don't even guard him. Yeah, it's true. The issues, the thing with Draymond is if you're going to be an offensive liability like he is, then you can't have the turnovers that he has. I tweeted out in the first half, he had another one. It seems like a literally game-by-game basis. Every single game, he just commits the absolute worst inbounds off a make you've ever seen, just turns it over. Had one again, and fortunately he contested Harrison Barnes at the rim and they got out of it. But man, like, can you stop just throwing the ball like inbounds without the guy looking? Like, and turning it over. It happens every game. Just chill. Cornell says Dre did his job. You'll forget his job is to defend and rebound like Dennis Rodman. Yep, fair. He's got to have more trust in QP, as in relation to Steve Kerr needs to have more trust in QP. Post played 4 minutes. And this was like early season Quinton Post, where he was essentially out of the rotation, and he played 4.5 minutes and didn't take a shot. Interesting. Envy says GP 2 minutes were pretty good. I remember sighing when I saw him check in. Again, yeah, I agree. They were good. Then next is, I think Dre guarded Wemby the best anyone has done this season. Phoenix had that really good game against him where he shot horrifically and they won. But yes, certainly up there. And it's funny to keep him to 31, 15, and 10 and describe it as a good defensive performance is remarkable. Jackson says, explain the Spurs' poor defense on threes. Can't they just sit Wemby in the back line and pressure up against the perimeter? Instead, they take a page out of Warriors' defense and leave players wide open. In fairness, the Warriors made them pay in the second. There were times where Wemby was collapsing into the paint and just being that guy on the back line, as you say. But I think it was Jimmy driving and Wemby came across, and then like Horford's wide open in the corner and Horford splashes a three. That one at the end of the game where Wemby's just roaming around the paint, Jimmy's like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll just walk into an absolutely wide open wing three. And you know what? I actually don't hate that defense. Like I'd almost live with Jimmy Butler threes if I was the Spurs, and then probably come from this game and say, Steph went for 46, Jimmy went 5 of 7 on threes, and we still arguably could have won the game. And that's probably, if I was Mitch Johnson, I'd probably be looking at that right now. But again, the Butler threes are wide open. And some of the stuff you're just going to live with, like Draymond went 0 of 7. So the Warriors would probably say, well, if Jimmy and Dre shoot 5 of 14 combined, then that's probably about right in terms of the percentages. So I suppose Jimmy makes up for Draymond in this instance. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Warriors did a pretty good job in the second half of making Wemby pay for some of the stuff and him just hanging around the rim looking to be a shot blocker and a rim protector. And that's the stuff that Al Horford can give you. And I thought he did that in this game. Dumpster fire. Hield's shooting is so valuable, but how much longer would you give him? He just keeps putting up horrible numbers. When Melton comes back, he's gone. He played 15 minutes in this game, had 4 points. You know the funniest thing right now is that Buddy Hield's defense is more valuable than his offense, which is just like no one has ever said that throughout his 10-year career. No one has ever said that until right now. And the reason I say that is because did you see at the end of the first? Was it the end of the first half? I think it was the end of the first half. Warriors are looking for a defensive stop. And they brought Buddy Hield into the game. He was on the bench, and they were looking for a defensive stop. And GP2 gets up off the bench into the game, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's. Do I think GP2 is the same defender as he once was? Not necessarily, but yeah, whatever, get in the game. And then I see Buddy Hield get up off the bench, and I'm like, huh? We've got to this point. Buddy Hield's one of your best 5 defenders. You want to stop at the end of a quarter? Okay, I mean, he definitely tries on defense, and he can harass, and he's got the energy for it. But is he really one of your 5 best defenders when you need a clutch stop down the stretch? I don't know. It's bizarre. But anyway, again, not a great game from him offensively. Yeah, I don't know. When Melton comes back, and the whole Seth Curry thing is like, do you just sign Seth Curry straight away and put him in the Hield minutes? Maybe. But again, like, I think they actually kind of value Buddy Hield's energy on defense in a way that Seth Curry is probably not going to be able to provide. Cornell says, when they went double big like they did last night, we can't just stay small. We're going to have some times match the other team's size because we get in trouble as soon as they go to the double big. Yeah, like Post is going to have to play. And I don't mind. Horford and Draymond just really haven't played too much together this season, but I feel like we'll see more of that as the season unfolds. Then next is we play the Spurs again on Friday. Yes. Yeah, day off and then second NBA Cup game as the Warriors look to respond from their disastrous loss to the Denver Nuggets in their first NBA Cup game. So, yeah, we'll wait and see how each team adjusts on Friday. Going to be another fascinating matchup. But to get this win is, I mean, you can't downplay how big this is to stick beyond 500, get back to 7-6, to get a win on the road after 6 straight road losses, to get a win after everything that happened during and after that loss to the Thunder yesterday. And this is why I kind of sat here yesterday, and it's such a long 82 game season that and you always, and I think it's one of the greatest sayings in sport. Honestly, it's one of the greatest sayings in sports. You're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. And that's the issue with with basketball and the NBA is you play so often. It's an 82 game season that it's so easy to lose a few games and be so down and out and think the world's just burning down. And it's also you win a few games like they did at the start of the season, 4-1, and it's very easy to like really buy into it and be like, oh yeah, we're championship contenders. Like we're gonna be so good. It's like again, this win doesn't put the Warriors into championship contention. Yesterday's loss also has now proven that the world isn't burning down because the Warriors came out and won this game 24 hours later against the second best team in the Western Conference through the first 10, 11 games. So you've just got to try and stay as even-keeled as possible and not try and have too much emotion in it and just try and provide some analysis, I suppose, to games without necessarily having too much emotion. But again, that's difficult because it's an emotional sport. It's the reason we follow it for the storylines, and it does elicit emotion in us. And I'm never going to turn away from being a fan. And that's, it's part of the excitement, right? And the ups and the downs and the positives and the negatives of a long 82 game season. And we've got 69 more games to come. Like there's going to be so many things that happen between now and the end of the season that make us believe this team has real contender ability, and other times where we're like, man, this team's so far away, not even close. And again, you look at a game like today against a good Spurs team, you're like, yep, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond still got it. You play a game against the Thunder 24 hours earlier, it's like, wow, we're so far away from the very best. And so I don't know. They're not as bad as what a lot of people were to make out, I suppose. And if we can just try and get these kind of Steph, Jimmy, Draymond performances consistently, and Moody can continue to step up in the way he is, and Pods can hopefully be a bit better, and maybe you get something out of Kuminga, and if you don't get something out of him, you move him on. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Empire says, what players can the Warriors actually trade for that would be worth it? Trey Murphy's definitely up there. I'm not sure who, like someone said yesterday, would you trade Kuminga for Wiggins? Don't think the Heat are doing that right now, but the Warriors probably would. Then says OKC looks scary good. What's the score update in that game? Clippers, bit of a turnaround on the Nuggets in the second quarter. Thunder are up by 36, 88-52 against the Lakers, who are fully healthy, I think, minus LeBron. Hawks smacking the Kings. The Kings, the Sabonis stuff is interesting. The Kings, because we know the Kings have interest in Kuminga, so it's like, okay, well, what can we get? What can we get then for Jonathan Kuminga if the Kings still have interest in him? There still just isn't anyone that makes sense to me because Sabonis makes too much. If you could just flip Kuminga for Sabonis, yeah, you'd do that, but you can't. It's another $20 million you have to add in, and again, that means Draymond and the Warriors just aren't doing it at that point. Keegan Murray, they've just extended. They're not going to trade him. Keon Ellis is interesting, but I'm just not sure that's the kind of player. I think I've always said, if you're going to trade Kuminga, you need another forward type, like a Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy's still the number one. He's the one that makes a lot of sense on this team, and he's the one that makes a similar-ish amount from a dollar standpoint. Like, if the Warriors could trade Kuminga and Pods right now for Trey Murphy, do you think they'd do it? I would suggest so. And that, again, from a contract standpoint, makes sense. So, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But there's a lot of stuff to come between, obviously, now and the mid-season deadline. Can we get someone from the Pacers? Jackson says, Mavs fire sale. Find anyone you like. PJ Washington is not trade eligible. Daniel Gafford. Are you trading Kuminga for Daniel Gafford? No. Like, the issue is the Mavs are having a fire sale, but they've got garbage. So who wants hot garbage? I don't know. Like Anthony Davis makes too much money. Warriors can't do that. And they're still willing to put Draymond and Kuminga together. And even then, they're like $6 million short or something. So I don't know. Who would you take from the Mavericks? I don't know if there's anyone. Derek Lively, I suppose, but they're not. If there's a fire sale going on, it's to reset, and they're keeping the young pieces like Derek Lively. Then Nick says, can we get someone from the Pacers? Such as, I don't know. I'm not sure there's anyone at the Pacers you want. Not that I can really think of off the top of my head. Like, I don't think there's going to be a fire sale on them in terms of key guys. Like Siakam, we know Siakam didn't want to be a Warrior previously, so I don't know why he changed his mind. And again, doesn't really make much sense from a contract standpoint. Nemhard, Neesmith, Obi Toppin. I just don't think. Yeah, Empire says Warriors should trade for Siakam. They've had the opportunity to do that previously, and they chose not to do it. And it didn't sound like Siakam wanted to come to the Warriors, so it feels like that is unlikely at this point. I'm going to finish it up there. I think, guys, maybe catch the end of. Well, I suppose I can catch the second half of Nuggets Clippers. I'll probably do that because this Thunder Lakers game is over, and this Kings Hawks game is essentially over as well by the look of it. So big win for the Warriors. Significant 125-120 over the Spurs. Again, they face San Antonio again on Friday in an NBA Cup game. I'll see if I can do a live stream after that one, but not sure at this point. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, that would be greatly appreciated. If you're watching this on replay, thank you very much for tuning in. Or if you're listening via the podcast feed, thank you as well. You can follow me at POC252. That's POK252 on X/Twitter. And I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, maybe after a live stream on Saturday. If not, whenever the next game is beyond that. I haven't even looked at the schedule beyond Friday's game. So thanks again.